Welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining me today because we are looking at something that, honestly, on the surface, might just sound like a standard regional construction project, but it is actually the hidden foundation of our entire modern technological future. We're talking about the CopperString ripple effect. We're going to see exactly how a high-voltage power line way out in the Australian outback connects directly to the massive global race for AI, advanced manufacturing, and renewable energy. It is a wildly fascinating story about scale, strategy, and really securing the future. Let's just start by putting this staggering figure right out there. 700 billion Australian dollars. Take a second to really wrap your head around that number. That is the estimated value of the critical minerals literally just sitting in the ground in Western Queensland right now, waiting to be unlocked. It's a mind-bending amount of wealth, right? But here's the catch. You can't just walk out into the outback with a shovel. To get it out of the ground, and more importantly, to process it, you need power. We're talking massive, reliable, large-scale power.
Section 1. The $3.2 billion power line. Okay, let's dive into this, because the sheer ambition of this solution is absolutely incredible. This is CopperString. It's a massive, high-voltage transmission corridor designed to connect the super remote, resource-rich regions of North West Queensland directly into the national electricity network. And recently, on June 10, 2026, Queensland Treasurer David Janetsky officially confirmed a whopping $3.2 billion funding commitment to make this a reality. So this isn't just some pie-in-the-sky idea on a whiteboard. It's one of the largest industrial infrastructure developments actively underway in the country.
So let's look at the physical realities of what this whole shebang actually entails. CopperString is designed to stretch way out towards Mount Isa. And the coolest part, ground has already been broken. Construction activity has actively kicked off in a place called Huggenden. This $3.2 billion injection is actively funding the construction of the eastern section of the network right now. And that's absolutely crucial because it's the necessary first step that enables the ultimate development of that western corridor, pushing deep into mining territory.
Section 2. Solving the grid bottleneck.
Now, I want you to think about this for a second. If you're a massive mining conglomerate and you know for a fact there are hundreds of billions of dollars of valuable minerals in the dirt, what's actually stopping you from just setting up shop? Like, what is the biggest constraint facing mining and energy developments in these highly remote regions? The answer is the grid bottleneck. It's simply the lack of access to reliable, large-scale electricity. You know, there's that old saying that during a gold rush, the people who make the real money are the ones selling the pickaxes, right? Well, in 2026, the state is essentially building a massive, modern infrastructure pickaxe because today's mine development and mineral processing, they require an astonishing amount of energy. If you don't have grid power, your project is commercially dead in the water before you even dig the first hole. CopperString completely solves that bottleneck.
Section 3. Unlocking $700 billion.
So we have the input cost, $3.2 billion. Make no mistake, that is a huge amount of taxpayer money, a massive initial commitment by the government to build this enabling infrastructure. But wait until you see what happens when we look at what that input actually unlocks. And this brilliantly illustrates the dynamic at play here. On one side, government estimates indicate that CopperString could unlock up to $10 billion in private renewable energy generation investment across those connected regions. Why? Because suddenly remote solar and wind farms actually have a way to plug into the grid. But then consider the other side. For the mining sector, authorities believe this network directly facilitates access to that $700 billion in critical minerals we talked about. You literally put $3.2 billion in, and you create the ecosystem for hundreds of billions in private capital and resource value to flow right back out. It is so incredibly vital to understand that this infrastructure supports an entire downstream ecosystem. It's really not just about digging up dirt and shipping it overseas anymore. The goal here is to support comprehensive future mine development, heavy mineral processing facilities, and massive industrial operations. You absolutely need immense, reliable power to refine these minerals locally. CopperString provides the juice to make large-scale industrial processing possible right there in Queensland.
Section 4. Fueling the tech race.
So what exactly is hiding in that Queensland dirt that's so valuable? Well, it's these specific, highly sought-after materials: copper, rare earth elements, and battery minerals. Guys, these aren't just your standard everyday commodities. They are quite literally the fundamental building blocks of the entire 21st century economy.
Think about it. If you use a smartphone, if you've ever queried a massive AI language model, if you drive an EV, or if your home is powered by solar, you are entirely dependent on these minerals. CopperString connects the remote dirt out in the outback directly to these massive global industries. Without the copper for the wiring, or the rare earths for the magnets, or the battery minerals for energy storage, advanced manufacturing just grinds to a complete halt. The future is electric, for sure, and electricity requires these exact elements. As the source material highlights, and I'll read this directly, governments around the world are racing to secure supplies required for artificial intelligence infrastructure and electric vehicles. The timing of Queensland's $3.2 billion investment is a direct response to this intense global competition. This is all about securing strategic supply chains before somebody else beats you to it.
Section 5. The Global Infrastructure Playbook. So, let's ask the big question here. What does this $3.2 billion investment actually signal to the rest of the world, to global markets, and to major private investors? Well, it signals a massive paradigm shift in the economic playbook. Just consider the historical comparison. The old way of doing things was honestly incredibly narrow. A government or a company would focus solely on resource extraction. Just dig the hole, get the material, and leave. The new way, the modern playbook we are seeing unfold globally, is to invest heavily in enabling infrastructure first. Governments are stepping in to build the transmission networks, the rail systems, the massive logistics corridors. Because by building the foundation, you become a strategic asset that unlocks multiple interconnected industries all at exactly the same time. For investors and industry participants watching this explainer, these are your key takeaways. This project signals immense, long-term confidence in the demand for critical minerals. It deliberately supports decades of future production growth. It drives massive regional industrialization, literally turning remote areas into economic powerhouses. And most importantly, by the government taking on the initial heavy lift of the infrastructure, it aggressively attracts the massive private capital needed to actually build the mines and the tech of the future. It's a total game changer.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on today. We spend so much time talking about the software, the AI, and the super fast cars of the future. But in this intense global tech race, will the ultimate winners be the tech giants themselves, or will it be the nations that are quietly, strategically building the critical infrastructure and securing the raw materials right beneath them? It is a fascinating shift in global power, and it's all starting with a power line in the outback. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this really helped you understand the massive scale and strategy behind the CopperString project. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.